HIV/AIDS combined. So it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside.
Hey, welcome in. It's been a while since I've been here, but I'm glad to be back. And we're going to get rolling here with a Thursday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show momentarily. We're in commercial right now. Here comes the music, and appreciate you guys watching. So stand by. It's a big boy show for a day when our president will have a big boy press conference. I'm not a fashion expert, but I wonder what you wear to a big boy press conference. Maybe Joe Biden's Little Lord Fauntleroy suit is freshly pressed. Or maybe not. Or maybe that's why the big boy press conference, as both his White House flacks, John Kirby and Karine Jean-Pierre, termed it the other day, the big boy press conference, has been already delayed from 5:30 to 6:30 tonight. We will stand by and wait for that on a day that I greet you after about an 8-day vacation. Glad to be back. Thank you for sticking with us here on the Bruce Hooley Show, and thank you for those who checked in on me while I was gone. Those of you who have my cell phone number and who texted me to want to know how things are going. One of my friends, who I have to be careful not to say too much to disclose who he is for fear of harming him in some way professionally, but he checked in on me, and I hope wherever you are, my friend, whose name starts with a C, that you are having a great day. I also want to thank Kathleen, who sent me a nice note thanking us for the debate watch party on, well, it was 2 weeks ago tonight at Dave & Buster's in Hilliard. She says, thank you to you and your team for hosting the debate watch party. I think we needed this gathering together, getting to know each other better as we became better informed, even as we cringed quite a bit in the process. Well, yeah, we cringed at the fact that our country is in the hands of a guy whose brain is mush. And while there's been much speculation and consternation about Joe Biden's future as the candidate at the top of the Democratic ticket, the real issue that we should be discussing is the peril in which we reside as a nation with his every continual hour in the Oval Office. Oh, he was great the other day, Bruce, at the NATO press conference. Yeah, it was between 10 and 4, and he had a teleprompter, and he was well rested because Dr. Jill, Cruella de Jill, as I call the president's wife, was out on the road campaigning in 3 different locations on Monday while Joe Biden rested at the White House. Dr. Cruella de Jill said, he's all in. Well, he's not with you. Where is he? All in. All in bed? I could believe that. All in a Parkinson's clinic? Oh, don't bring that up. That's confidential. Shouldn't you as president have to maybe suspend your HIPAA protections, given the fact that your state of mind and the health of your body is kind of consequential to the safety of the American citizens? I thought the number one priority of the commander in chief was to what? Keep the citizens safe, right? That is why I am not surprised at all at the press's inability and unwillingness to do what it's charged to do, which is be an adversarial overseer of our political power brokers. Now, when I say adversarial, it doesn't mean you have to be mean, but it means that your interests cannot be aligned with the interests of those you cover. That's the same whether you're an entertainment reporter, a sports reporter, or particularly a political reporter. But we have a horrible media in this country. But it is like they've almost all received kind of a green light from Central Command that now we can go back to being journalists again. Now we can go back to writing headlines like the elite are abandoning Biden. They've already written that at Real Clear Politics, Philip Wegman. He's not in the bag for Biden. But Jill Filipovic is. She works at Slate, which is decidedly left-wing. And here's the headline on her story: Why I Support But Fear a Kamala Harris Candidacy. Could she have written this? 2 weeks and 1 day ago that you fear a Kamala Harris candidacy? Well, sure, she could not have written that because the Biden administration would have shut Jill Filipovic down. And of course, even if you could write about a Kamala Harris candidacy, you certainly couldn't confess that you had any fear about it. Here are some Politico headlines today. Dems are freaking out about Biden, even in once safely blue states. Why would that be? Because those blue states are not safely in Joe Biden's corner anymore. And that's what's really upset the left. Is not that Vladimir Putin is sitting back in Russia, Xi Jinping in China, the mullahs in Iran, little rocket man in North Korea. Doesn't bother them that they're sitting there laughing at the U.S., laughing at us, U.S. capitalized and U.S. lowercase, laughing at the country and laughing at those of us who are suffering under this abysmal leadership and horrific cover-up by the media. That doesn't bother those who work in politics. What bothers them, what bothers Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, George Clooney, who hosted the big fundraiser in LA, who's always been in the bag for Joe Biden. George Clooney writing in the New York Times yesterday that it wasn't a cheap fake, Barack Obama pulling Joe Biden off stage at the LA fundraiser. George Clooney said Joe Biden was exactly the same guy that night that he was at the presidential debate, and it's time for the Democrats to have a new candidate. Boy, you've lost Hollywood, Joe. But Joe Biden has always been a serial, self-important gas bag. And I don't know who gets through to it, because his son Hunter's future as a free man certainly hinges on Joe Biden being reelected or Kamala Harris being elected. And the polls show that she doesn't stand a better chance than Biden. And until that's the case, I am amused watching Democrats fight over, we need new energy. Be careful what you wish for. Kamala, not exactly a bundle of energy. She hasn't exactly turned people on and excited them about her candidacy, given the fantastic job she's done getting to the bottom of the border crisis, which she was charged with several years ago and which continues to spin out of control. So big boy presser tonight, 6:30 p.m. Stand by. It is, like every Joe Biden appearance publicly now, a pass-fail endeavor. You know, does he not leave in a pine box? Does he not pause for more than 2 or 3 seconds when speaking? Does he not make a wild claim that he's proud to be the first black woman to serve as vice president? Which he said that in an interview last week. There's so many things that happened while I was away on vacation where I was like, oh, I wish I could talk about that today. Oh, I wish I could talk about that today. But a little rest is good for the mind, good for the spirit, and has charged me up and gotten me back ready to inform you, serve you, and keep you abreast of the latest details going on in Washington, D.C. While I was away, nothing changed in Columbus, Ohio. Crime still continues to spin out of control. This morning, an attempted carjacking on the southeast side of Columbus. A mom went to her babysitter's house and a condominium complex at Annual and Blue Knoll Drives near Gender Road just before 1:30 a.m. The mom's 6-year-old son was at the babysitter. The mom picked up the son, put the son in the backseat of the car. The son was asleep, as little children are prone to do. They're deep asleep at 1:30 in the morning. And the mom went then back to the babysitter. Now you know what's coming, right? Yep. Somebody was watching the mom and decided while the mom was back at the babysitter's door, it would be a great time to steal the mom's Honda CR-V and started to drive away. And this heroic mom said, you're not taking my kid. The mom dove on the hood of the car and hung on to the hood of the car. But no matter how many times you see in movies, Jason Bourne or other actors playing the roles of action heroes hang onto the hood of the car while they go bouncing around at amazing rates of speed, that is not something that is practically possible. And the mom fell off the hood of the car, sustained, according to news reports, critical injuries. But thankfully, the guy, I presume it was a guy, who attempted to steal the car, got scared and ran. The 6-year-old boy, saved by the mom, still inside sleeping and unharmed. We do not have a condition on the mom. So the car thefts in Columbus continue. The violence and mayhem continues. Judge Michael Holbrook, though, the guy who turned loose a murderer on the streets of Columbus on his own recognizance, even though he had been incarcerated for domestic violence and even though he had held a knife to the throat of his now deceased girlfriend, Brooke DeVinny, even though he had made Brooke DeVinny disrobe in the month of December and run out into the street naked to flee him after he had grabbed her by the hair and threatened to kill her. Michael Holbrook is back. Michael Holbrook is back in the courtroom, and man, has he had a change of heart, because now Michael Holbrook has decided that Devon Blair really is a dangerous individual. What gave it away? The murder of Brooke DeVinny, the murder of her unborn child, the fact that he was already in prison in Northeast Ohio for threatening to kill another girl. Oh, no, that didn't give it away because you let him out on his own recognizance, even though you knew that. But now Michael Holbrook has he's found a conscience, and we will tell you all about it next.
Mostly sunny, a warm day on Saturday, the high at 90. Clouds and scattered thunderstorms on Sunday, the high again 90. Partly sunny, a hot one on Monday, breezy in the afternoon, the high Monday at 95. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
I lost my brother.
I lost my sister.
I lost my best friend.
Each year, Ohio loses some of its best and brightest to train car accidents.
Everyone knows that crossing is bad.
Stop signs and crosswalks just aren't enough.
Then that his family was in crisis. In 2018. You look at.
Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by
And it has made me want to rethink a lot of the.
For President Biden's plan to give illegals our tax dollars, including COVID checks. Brown even voted to give them Social Security benefits for work done illegally and free health care to illegals granted amnesty. Senator Brown voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous, illegal immigrant criminals onto our streets. And Brown voted to give amnesty to over 11 million illegals, including those convicted of aggravated assault, drunk driving, and child abuse. Call Senator Sherrod Brown at 216-522-7272 and tell him to support S3578, the Protect Medicaid Act, and start voting against illegal immigrants and for Ohio families. Ohio needs cheaper gas, food, and housing, not handouts to illegals who don't play by the rules. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica. For your body, your mind, your whole outlook.
We just had 1,000 Africans show up.
Z-Factor is a 100% drug-free way to help you fall asleep faster, sleep longer, and sleep better. Z-Factor is from the makers of Relief Factor, so you know they've done their homework. Z-Factor is more than just melatonin. Developed by doctors, Z-Factor uses a precise formula of 4 all-natural ingredients to calm your mind and relax your body so you ease into sleep faster, and you'll sleep through the night, restful and uninterrupted. You wake up refreshed, never drowsy, ready to start the day. So rediscover the joy of a really wonderful night's sleep. Give Z-Factor from Relief Factor a try and save 46% on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF, or Z-Factor.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Did you know that 80% of adults take supplements to feel our best, right? Well, one thing your dog can't do without you is improve their diet or health to feel their best. That is why I believe Rough Greens could dramatically help your best friend by adding what is missing to their diet like you do. Rough Greens is helping thousands and thousands of dogs feel better and live longer, including my dog, Mr. Briggs, who loves it. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who created Rough Greens, is also an airborne ranger and Green Beret, an amazing background. He loves dogs and is on a mission to help as many as he can. Dog food is dead, and Rough Greens supplements your dog's food with existing vitamins and minerals, omega oils, digestive enzymes, probiotics, and antioxidants. Dr. Black is offering you a free Jumpstart trial bag. To fetch your free Jumpstart trial bag, just cover shipping. Don't change your dog's food. Just go to roughgreens.com/Kirk, ruffgreens.com/Kirk.
Hey, back from vacation means I'm back and ready to help you. If you have need for new flooring, love to help you out. Go to brucehooley.com, click on the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner. We are going to get Sandy and Andrea, excuse me, not Sandy and Andrea, Steve and Andrea taken care of. I got them confused with Sandy, who I spoke with on the phone yesterday. Got an appointment to go out and measure her space. Also going to reconnect with Robin, who was on vacation while I was. So really appreciate those of you who support me and support my family being able to pay the bills that we've incurred since my diagnosis in September. And if you would like new flooring, beautiful carpet, save money, luxury vinyl plank flooring, you can get that too. It is more durable, looks like hardwood. You'll never know the difference, but you will because it won't scratch when you scooch the refrigerator or a table or a chair across it. Go to brucehooley.com, click on the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner. I promise that will save you money and we'll get it in sooner so you can enjoy it. Flooring, you need it, you can get it. brucehooley.com, flooring tab, upper right-hand corner of the webpage. Well, I don't know if Franklin County Common Pleas Court Judge Michael Holbrook got a conscience replacement with his hip replacement, but he's back from medical leave at the Franklin County Courthouse, and he has revoked the $11 million bail of Devon Blair, who I'm going to go out on a limb and say had no hope of ever getting sufficient funds to meet his $11 million bail. But now Michael Holbrook can say, well, look, I revoked his bail. Yeah, but you let him out on his own recognizance after you knew he had been imprisoned for domestic violence against a woman in Northern Ohio, and after you knew that he had held a knife to the throat of Brooke DeVinny before he murdered her and her unborn child. But now Holbrook says that Devon Blair can't just walk out of the Franklin County Common Pleas Court with an ankle monitor on and go about visiting his mayhem upon those with whom he forges, for some reason that eludes me, a romantic relationship. So Mr. Holbrook said in court yesterday of the ankle monitor, which Mr. Blair was not wearing when he went to Brooke DeVinny's home and beat her and left her to be found by the relative who broke into the house because they heard the ruckus and knew Devon Blair's history with Brooke DeVinny, and then by Columbus police when that relative called police. Holbrook said that of the ankle monitor, his story was it was knocked off. That shows manipulation of the system, an effort to do what he wants to do. Wow. You don't have to hit Michael Holbrook over the head with a, well, I guess you do have to hit him over the head with a double murder when he finds out that the ankle monitor is not sufficient to keep a monster in jail. Speaking of monsters, man, I hate to report this, but it's important to know because anybody in local government care enough about children under the age of 10 being murdered in our city, black children under the age of 10. Hello, Joyce Beatty. Hello, Shannon Harden. Hello. I mentioned those two because they are black. Hello, Amelia Robinson, the angry Bobcat, Columbus Dispatch. Rather than writing about, as you did recently, how if Trump wins, we'll never have another Independence Day. And by the way, you could not be more wrong on that. If Trump wins, America's celebration of its 250th birthday in 2026 will be epic. If Joe Biden wins and then is no longer in office, because he most certainly will not be halfway through what would be his second term, Kamala Harris is president, then it'll be an apology tour. But Amelia, if you really cared about Black people in the city of Columbus, Black youth in the city of Columbus, you would ask some serious questions about Franklin County Children's Services now that we know that 8-year-old Martonio Wilder, just like 5-year-old, Darnell Taylor, trying to remember his name, Darnell Taylor, they met the same fate, although in a different way, that as Mackenzie Ridley, young Black girl, as Olivia Kurtz, young Black girl. The latter two were shot in drive-by shootings, still unsolved because the people who know won't say a word to police about it. But 5-year-old Darnell Taylor, murdered by the foster mom who quote-unquote adopted him, and 8-year-old Martonio Wilder, murdered by his mother and her girlfriend. Yeah, it's lovely allowing that kind of situation to unfurl. 8-year-old Martonio Wilder, who was stuffed into a garbage bag and into some kind of box or plastic tote where Columbus police found him, murdered a few weeks ago in the attic of his mother's home, where she would not let a cadaver dog in until she left, and police didn't have to seek her approval anymore to search the premises. Court records in Franklin County Juvenile Court show that a motion for emergency custody of LaShonda Wilder's 2 other children, who she did not murder, aged 9 and 3, was filed after her arrest. That's bad timing. The motion says Wilder had been involved with Franklin County Children's Services since May of 2022, back when Martonio Wilder was presumably not, and I quote, just bones, unquote, from malnourishment and mistreatment by his mom and her girlfriend, according to a family relative. All these details are available on Bethany Bruner's account of the latest developments in this sad, sordid, and totally preventable case in today's Columbus Dispatch. In May of 2022, Martonio Wilder was living in a family shelter with his mother and had been living there for about 5 months. Yet no alarm bells went off, despite the details of what I'm about to read you. At that time, May of 2022, while LaShonda Wilder and her girlfriend, Johanna Lowe, well, I don't know if Lowe was with them at the time, but Mrs. Wilder was, quote, and again, they didn't take the kids away, reported to have been observed to yell and cuss at the older children, and it was reported that she was observed berating one of her children. Wilder had also been reported to have said she was, quote, done with, unquote, one of her children, and wanted to give up custody. Oh, no alarm bells went off. A family relative, who I will not name because they did nothing wrong here. Well, actually, they kind of did. No, this was after they viewed Martonio's dead body. They said there was nothing there, it was just bones. And then the family member hauntingly says what all of us are thinking, right? She wonders what Martonio's thoughts were as he was allegedly beaten by his mother with a crutch, by the way, which the accomplice to the murder confessed to. She said, what was that baby thinking? That's all I can think about now. On his 8th birthday, she came to give him a gift, and the mom said, no, he doesn't deserve it.
White House. The remnants of Hurricane Beryl have triggered flash flooding across parts of upstate New York and New England. One death in Vermont blamed on flash flooding. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 31 points, the Nasdaq 306 points lower. More details at SRNews.com.
You owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-606-4110. 800-606-4110. Again, that's 800-606-4110.
News, passion. Here, 98.9 The Answer is where you go. The Answer's cloud. This is TheAnswer.com. Also, your sponsors, tune in for iHeart.
Still hear the radio app of the IRS. $50,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2 to Retire Ready Ohio with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Well, I read to you earlier in the show a very nice note that I received thanking us. The note was from Kathleen about the debate watch party we held 2 weeks ago tonight. And then someone asked me as I was leaving that night, hey, what's the next event? Well, here's your answer. Men, you are invited to the first ever 98.9 FM, The Answer men's event. It's Saturday morning, July the 20th, which, if I'm right, that's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. It's at the church next door in Hilliard, which is right off Hilliard-Rome Road, real close, almost across the street from Meyer. I will be there speaking along with a gentleman I'll share the stage with, Tom Ryan, the wrestling coach at Ohio State, Bob Burney, host of Bob Burney Live, Tim Throckmorton, Family Research Council, former Ohio State running back Master Teague, and of course, Doyle Jackson, the pastor at the church next door. Find out what it means to be a godly man or renew your faith in being one. Bring your friends, bring your family. Women, you say, hey, can I get in? Well, it says here, invite your husbands, sons, brothers, neighbors, and friends. Tickets are $25 for adults, $20 for kids, 17 and under. You get a light breakfast, you get a cookout afterwards, and we'll be hanging around and interacting with you. Look forward to it. Get your tickets right now at 989theanswer.com. So tonight, I'm still back on the original schedule, which called for Joe Biden to do a press conference at 5:30. Maybe his duties with the NATO summit will keep him busy until 4:30, 5 o'clock, and he needs to catch a nap before he does the 6:30 big boy press conference. The big boy press conference. How often does Joe Biden do this? Well, he's been in office 41 months. He has gone 30 months without a solo press conference. 30 months. No. The whirring helicopter blades and the stumbling to Marine One does not count as a press conference. Sorry, Democrats. He has gone as much as 16 months without a TV interview. And when you saw his TV interview with George Stephanopoulos, you know why Biden has gone 16 months. And we would now be in the 17th month, if not for his disastrous debate performance 2 weeks ago tonight. He has also, at one point in his presidency, gone 10 months, almost a full calendar year, without either a television interview or a solo press conference. But tonight, presumably, unless he cancels, all of that will end. And Joe Biden will be doing a solo press conference. Working without a net, shall we say. Didn't go well the last time. Will he have a cue card in his hand with a picture of the people that he's supposed to call on? Yesterday, he was at a union thing, speaking off teleprompter, and he said at the union thing, I think it was in Philadelphia, I'm going to get in trouble if I'm up here talking too long. Isn't he the commander-in-chief? Doesn't he call the shots? Isn't he in charge? We are told he's sharp as a tack, that he's perfectly able to continue running the country, even though it was troubling to me and anyone who knows how wrong this is to hear Karine Jean-Pierre say the other day in response to a question from Peter Doocy, the president has said he's sharpest between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. What if the Department of Defense detects a nuke coming at the United States at 11 p.m.? Who does he contact then? And he didn't call her Nurse Jill, or he didn't call her Cruella de Jill, but I think he said, his wife or whoever. And Karine Jean-Pierre said he has a team. Now, I've said before, Karine Jean-Pierre is really bad at her job. She's bad at her job because she reads a lot of her answers, and a lot of her answers reflect the fact that she's really not that good at reading, probably as a child. She was terrified to hear the teacher say, Karine, could you read out loud? Because she's not good at it. But she would have been better off reading, even clumsily, any other answer in the binder, whether it had to do anything with a nuke coming at the United States at 11 p.m. She would have been better off giving that answer than giving the answer she gave, because we still have, even though the Democrats are working very hard to get rid of it, a little document called the U.S. Constitution, which I believe in Article 2 says that all, doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room, does it? All power of the executive branch is vested in the president, not the president's team, not Antony Blinken, not Dr. Jill, not Jake Sullivan, not Barack Obama, not at all. The power of the executive branch, and I would certainly think we would want the executive branch on top of it if a nuke was headed toward our country at 11 p.m. at night. She admitted that Joe Biden is not in charge. She admitted it. This is scandalous. And maybe that's why House Oversight has subpoenaed 3 White House aides to testify before them to get to the bottom of a question that nobody's asking, other than me and precious few other commentators in the aftermath of the debate, which is who's running our country? Who is running our country? Who was running our country in the 7 days Joe Biden took to rest up for the debate? Who is running our country after he falls asleep, at least when he's in Germany, prior to 6 p.m., because that's another thing we've learned in the last few days, as Democratic media has decided to actually do the job of media. And we have heard the story that the Germans scheduled a meeting with Biden to talk about Ukraine, a topic that apparently is very near and dear to his heart, even though it's stupid that it is. They scheduled a meeting with Biden for 6 p.m. and he didn't show up. And Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he fell asleep. He needed to go to bed. 6 o'clock. I don't know what the time difference is between Germany and the U.S., but we already found out that it took Joe Biden more than 2 weeks to recover from jet lag coming back from Germany, because that was one of the feeble excuses they offered for his awful debate performance. Oh, you know, he traveled to Europe and he went across like 49 time zones and he was jet lagged. Oh, really? He was jet lagged 12 days after he got back? That doesn't seem like a ringing endorsement of his mental acuity. Now, though, you can read between the lines of even the most powerful Democrats to see that while I'm going to be wrong in my early week prediction that the over-under on Joe Biden lasting as the top of the ticket candidate for the Dems was 3 o'clock Thursday, they're certainly not going to cut him loose. All the NATO folks are in town, and they're going to give him the chance to go out there and face plant again tonight at 6:30. While I was wrong in that, I am not wrong in that his days are numbered as the Democratic nominee. If you don't believe me, listen to Nancy Pelosi say right here what Joe Biden has already said is not an issue any longer.
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short.
It's up to the president to, she said, decide. I think she meant decide. That's what happens when you have a highball for breakfast, I guess, before you appear on MSNBC. It's up to the president to decide what he's going to do. Hasn't he already been pretty definitive about that? I think he's on the record saying, I'm not backing down. I'm not going away. I'm going to run. I'm going to beat Donald Trump. Interesting. Didn't elude my recognition, nor former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's recognition, that Nancy Pelosi chose to say Joe Biden needs to make a decision, even though he's already made a decision, and that she said it on the program that Joe Biden most frequently watches in the morning, or at least on the network he most frequently watches in the morning, which is MSNBC. Here is Kevin McCarthy taking note of that.
The former speaker is very clear. She did it on purpose. She went on a morning show that Democrats watch. She's telling the president that his decision is not the decision she wants. She's also saying to the Democrats that Hakeem is not the leader of the Democrats. She is. Hakeem's being weak by not taking a position.
He would be referencing there, of course, the old air traffic controller himself, Hakeem Jeffries, the man who cannot talk without moving his hands as if he's bringing in an Airbus from the runway at John Glenn International Airport. Put an orange cone in his hand, and Hakeem Jeffries could make a little extra money on the side, getting jumbo jets to the jetways. But here is Hakeem walking along the halls of Congress, talking to Aisha Hasni of Fox News, sounding an awful lot like he wishes Joe Biden would exit the race. That is less than a ringing endorsement from the air traffic controller, Hakeem Jeffries. So we shall see. Big boy presser tonight, 6:30.
Cloudy, a nice afternoon, and the high today 84. Partly cloudy tonight with the low 66. Mostly sunny. We could pick up a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. The high tomorrow at 89. Mostly sunny, a warm day on Saturday. The high at 90. Clouds and scattered thunderstorms on Sunday. The high again 90. Partly sunny, a hot one on Monday. Breezy in the afternoon. The high Monday at 95. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Joe Biden tried several times to stanch the bleeding in a political and constitutional crisis touched off by his disastrous debate performance. A series of media interviews only raised more questions about his cognitive capacity. Now, Democrats raise pressure on Biden to withdraw from the 2024 election. The White House sent out a letter on Monday with Biden's signature declaring that he would not willingly relinquish the nomination in an effort to end the discussion. However, the shocking exposure of the president's condition raises the serious question of whether he is actually making these decisions. NBC News reported last week that recently convicted felon Hunter Biden has inserted himself into policy meetings, a change that took place after the debate. Hunter has been the driving force arguing for his father to remain in the race. The Biden family businesses rely on Joe Biden's connection to power, and Hunter remains a key figure in those operations. The country deserves an answer to these questions. Who is running the country, and why?
Hey, seniors, looking to make your mark in a close-knit community that's passionate about your academic and spiritual growth? It's not too late to join our vibrant campus this fall. Ohio Christian University offers a nurturing environment where you can thrive both academically and spiritually. From engaging classes to a faith-based supportive community, we're here to help you succeed. Embrace new opportunities and join Ohio Christian University, a community that cares about your success. Apply now at ohiochristian.edu/apply and start your journey with us in August. Your future is bright, and we're here for you.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, hoping you will join me on July the 20th in Hilliard at the Church Next Door for our Take a Stand, Be a Godly Man event. You can get tickets at 989theanswer.com. We have an abundance of bad leadership in our world today, and we need men to step up. Find out how to do that from a godly perspective. Our speakers include Doyle Jackson, pastor at the Church Next Door, Tom Ryan, OSU wrestling coach, Bob Burney of 880 AM, The Answer, myself, and former Ohio State running back Master T. Join us July the 20th, Church Next Door in Hilliard. Get your tickets at 989theanswer.com.
The Caribbean is calling. Dennis Prager here. I invite you to join me on a Bible cruise this November in the Caribbean. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. We'll cruise to the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, and more while making unforgettable memories with like-minded travelers. Stroll through Curaçao's iconic pastel-colored shops and snorkel in Bonaire's world-class coral reefs. You'll enjoy some of the most delicious cuisine aboard Holland America's Rotterdam, a fantastic destination itself with riveting shows and spectacular views. This experience is more than a vacation. It's a chance to participate in profound discussions. The fresh insights I will share with you about the books of the Bible and current events should energize and challenge you. Mark your calendars, November 29th to December 8th, 2024. Learn more and secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or booking online at PragerBibleCruise.com.
So this year I ordered my prom dress from Shady Deals, and when it came, it said some assembly required.
I ordered these batteries for my digital camera, but the batteries weren't included, so I had to draw all of our family memories. I ordered a 60-inch TV from Shady Deals. What they actually meant is you can't sit further than 60 inches away. Be a savvy consumer, research businesses, report false advertising, and settle transaction claims with the BBB.
Test your advertising IQ. Go to bbbadtruth.org.
Oh, one thing about vacation, you don't sleep as well. At least I don't sleep as well. And one of the reasons I didn't sleep as well is because I don't want to be that guy that takes my pillow on a flight. But I should have, because I did not sleep as well while I was on vacation as I do at home. And it was great to get home Tuesday morning, 2:30 a.m., thanks Hurricane Beryl, and be able to lay my head on my pillow. If you think it doesn't make a difference, well, then you need to become a MyPillow devotee, as I was 8 years ago. And you need to get used to it and accustomed to 8 or more solid hours sleep every night, because you don't wake up with neck pain. You don't have to flip your pillow over in the middle of the night. All the other design innovations and whatever it is else that makes the MyPillow so phenomenal. You can get one for $25 right now at MyPillow.com. Yes, a king size, yes, a queen size, and lots of other items on sale as well. $25. That's the sale price. Free shipping on orders of $75 or more. Do something nice for yourself, something nice for others. Go to MyPillow.com, and for the lowest pricing, use my promo code Bruce. So we have the Republican convention coming up next week. It will start Monday. Donald Trump has been keeping his powder dry and has been staying out of the limelight. I think he had one rally in Florida. Since Biden and the Democrats began to cannibalize each other, starting with Biden's debate performance 2 weeks ago tonight. But Trump has been releasing little bits and pieces, details here and there. The speculation now centers on J.D. Vance, Doug Burgum, and Marco Rubio as the most likely vice presidential candidates on the ticket with Donald Trump. Have reservations about all three, and I can see the wisdom of all three. First, let's start with the junior senator from the state of Ohio, who hopefully will not be the junior senator long. Hopefully he will soon be replaced as a junior senator by Bernie Moreno. Oh, by the way, speaking of Sherrod Brown, Sherrod did a press call yesterday, and he was asked, what do you think he was asked about? Well, he was not asked about what he wanted to talk about, because what he wanted to talk about was anything but Joe Biden. And what Sherrod Brown did was stonewall and complain and get testy when reporters asked him about taking a position on Joe Biden. I mean, after all, man of the people, Sherrod Brown, a guy who's been in government for 50 years, is it too much to ask the gravelly voiced, tassel-haired Sherrod Brown to actually tell us whether he thinks Joe Biden should still be the Democratic nominee? I mean, every Democrat in the country is being asked this question, but Sherrod did not want to answer it. And one of the reporters who was pressing him, much to my surprise, is Daryl Rowland of ABC6. Daryl writes about his frustration trying to get Sherrod Brown on the record about Joe Biden, which, you know, again, is a fair question to ask since Sherrod Brown has voted with Joe Biden 98.5% of the time Joe Biden has been president. But Sherrod wasn't about it yesterday. Here are some of the questions that Daryl Rowland tried to ask, and Sherrod tried to give the old kick, save, and a beauty to. He said, let me get the questions. I want to be fair. I don't want to misquote anybody. Question, do you think your current presidential nominee should step down from the ballot? Brown said, I've talked to people across the country, across Ohio. They have legitimate questions about what or whether. Stall. Another question. It has been reported that yesterday in a Senate caucus meeting in Washington that you and two other senators said President Biden can't win. Do you believe that? Brown said, as I said, I talked to people all across Ohio. When any politician says, as I said, it means they don't like your question. As I said, I talked to people all across Ohio. They have legitimate questions. Blah, blah, blah. Got it. Next question. To Daryl Rowland's credit, wow, he and Michael Holbrook both found their conscience in the last few days. To be blunt, I don't know why you're dodging the question. Should Joe Biden, in your view, remain on the ballot or should he step down? Sherrod Brown's answer is a non-answer. Nobody's questioning my standing up for Ohio and standing up for the workers in Ohio, and I'll continue to do that. Nope. And Daryl Rowland follows up. Why aren't you answering the question directly, if I may be so blunt? Why would you ask that? You are supposed to be blunt. You are supposed to hold him to account. And Brown says, I answered. My job is to continue to talk about and fight for Ohio workers, and I'm not here to talk politics. He's running for Senate, and he's not there to talk politics? Count me confused. Count me confused. Now, one of the things Donald Trump has done is release his platform, and it's classic Trump. It's a list of bullet points, all in capital letters. All in capital letters. Like Trump tweets in capital letters. He truths in capital letters. He, I guess, lives in capital letters. And so the platform is all in capital letters. And it does not contain what every Republican platform previous has contained, which is strong, unequivocal pro-life language. That is because Trump has moved to the middle on abortion. He's even said that it's a states issue, which I'm great with it being a states issue rather than a greenlit federal issue. I credit him for the overthrow of Roe versus Wade. That's great. But 110 words in the platform, being careful not to say what I want to see and what other evangelicals want to see and what God wants to see, by the way, which is strong pro-life language, is disappointing. I've said before, I will never vote for a candidate who is not pro-life. Would I say Donald Trump is not pro-life based upon this platform? I don't know. I got to look at this closer. I've got to pray about it. I've got to talk to my pastor about it. I've got to weigh, and I don't want to be somebody who weighs and says, well, he's better than the other guy, so I'm going to vote for him. Because I don't believe I'll be asked about my immigration policy or my policy on American energy or my policy on any other issue other than what did I do to protect the weakest among us? And I do not ever want to not be able to answer that question with a clear conscience that I did everything possible to protect those who are weaker. So there are a lot of evangelical leaders who were very upset about the fact that this was put in the platform the way it was with 110 words. What does it say? It kind of argues that the 14th Amendment protects life, which that argument's been made before and has been rejected before by the Supreme Court. They kind of carried that over from their 2016 platform, but that platform devoted 700 words to abortion and the life issue. This one gives 110 words to it. And the 14th Amendment citation is that states may not deprive any person the right to life, liberty, or property without due process. The states are therefore free to pass laws protecting those rights. Yeah, they always have been. There's a section where there's a little bit of expounding on the life issue and on religious issues. One of them lists a bullet point that says freedom to pray. Republicans will champion the First Amendment right to pray and read the Bible in school and stand up to those who violate the religious freedoms of American students. Okay, that's great. Still not as pro-life as I'd like it. Another section, Republicans will defend religious liberty. We are defenders of the First Amendment right to religious liberty. Protects the right to not only worship according to the dictates of conscience, but also act in accordance with those beliefs, not just in places of worship, but in everyday life. Our ranks include men and women from every faith and tradition, and we respect the right of every American to follow his or her deeply held beliefs to protect religious liberty. Republicans support a new federal task force on fighting anti-Christian bias that will investigate all forms of illegal discrimination, harassment, and persecution against Christians in America. Again, that's all great. And it's followed by the statement on life, which is we proudly stand for families and life. We believe the 14th Amendment, yada, yada, yada. After 51 years, the power has been given to the states and a vote of the people. We will oppose late-term abortion while supporting mothers and policies that advance prenatal care, access to birth control, and IVF fertility treatments. So a lot in there that you can debate, a lot in there that I need to contemplate, and we will talk more about it as we get closer to the election and as I reach clarity on that particular point.
Impression that a metal roof costs 2 or 3 times more than a shingle roof? No, it doesn't. Hi, folks. I'm Dan Tolan, owner of The Metal Roof Company. As your foremost metal roofing authority in Central Ohio, I can promise you it's the most inexpensive roof you'll ever buy because it's the last roof you'll ever buy. With lifetime warranties and a variety of financing options, give us a call at 721-ROOF, 721-ROOF, or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
Laura Trump provides a fresh and honest perspective on the issues that matter to you on the Right View podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
The number of Americans, and I think this is part of the problem right now, the number of Americans getting their news from TikTok quadrupled in the past 3 years. It really kind of terrifies me for what is to come for this country.
Subscribe to the Right View on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com. Find us at 989theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Inflation in the United States cooled in June for a third straight month.
In a better-than-expected report, consumer prices declined 0.1% from May to June after having remained flat the previous month. All good news, says Mark Hamrick, who's the senior economic analyst at Bankrate.com.
Whether you look at the headline or the core, excluding food and energy, these numbers came in better than expected. And consumers are obviously anxious to see better news on prices and inflation, and now they're finally getting it.
Going back to last year, prices were up 3% in June. That's cooler than the 3.3% annual rate in May. I'm Shelley Adler.
Fewer Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week as the labor market remains sturdy despite high interest rates. The Labor Department reporting that jobless claims for the week ending July 6 fell by 17,000 to 222,000 from 239,000 the previous week. Also at townhall.com, authorities in western states warning of the rising risk of wildfires as hot conditions and low humidity dry out the landscape amid a protracted heat wave making much of the U.S. Keith Bailey says the Las Vegas heat making it challenging for him to walk his dog.
If I don't get out by 8:30 in the morning, then it's not going to happen that day. Because even in the evenings, last night at 10 o'clock, when I let them out to go potty their last time before I went to bed, it was still 109.
California has responded to more than 3,500 wildfires that have scorched nearly 325 square miles of vegetation. Floodwaters brought by the remnants of Hurricane Beryl have caused at least one death in Vermont. Flooding also causing problems in New York and New Hampshire. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Sunny to partly cloudy, a nice afternoon, and the high today 84. Partly cloudy tonight with the low 66. Mostly sunny. We could pick up a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. High tomorrow at 89. Mostly sunny, a warm day on Saturday. The high at 90. Clouds and scattered thunderstorms on Sunday. The high again 90. Partly sunny, a hot one.
Thanks to everybody for joining.
Afternoon.
That'll do it for hour number one. I've got to
I'm Steve Williams on
end the live stream. You can
98.9
catch hour number
The
2
Answer.
at the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page.
Dr. Brendan Schreiner here with
or at 989theanswer.com Facebook page. Thanks. Bye-bye.